Hello my friends, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about how to make a change for the icon for Sitefinity.net core widgets or view components. So there is a new feature now starting the last release that will allow us to change the icon for that. So let's go ahead and get started. So at this point, as you can see here on the screen, I have the CMS running, okay? I did not run the .NET Core piece yet for the front end, just the CMS is running at port 38837 here locally on my machine. And let me make Visual Studio Code a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing in here. So in here I just generated a completely empty .NET Core application called the test sites. These are all the files and folders that come with it. Notice in here in my view components, I don't have anything inside, didn't create anything yet. And in the views under components, I don't have anything in there either. So let's go ahead and create really quickly a widget or a view component inside of .NET Core. So I'm going to go to the folder here in the terminal and we'll say .NET and we'll say new and we'll say Sitefinity -widget and then we'll say --widget name, and then we'll give it whatever name. I'm going to call it, for instance, the SitefinityWidget. How about that? Sounds good. So .NET new Sitefinity -widget -widget name, and then you give it whatever name you want. When you say enter in there, automatically the CLI will create that for you. You will notice now if I go to the view components, the SitefinityWidget folder would have been created, and inside of the SitefinityWidget folder that we will have a SitefinityWidget view component that inherits from view component. If you want to know, by the way, how to actually create from scratch the .NET Core, render, and so on, I have other videos here that you are more than welcome to go ahead and take a look for 4 or 5 minutes or so, just to show you how to create all that stuff. But if you've already seen these videos and you're just trying to find out how can I change the icon, you are more than welcome to stay with this video. So now that we have done that, so this is the view component itself, okay? And then in the views under components, another folder would have been created called the SitefinityWidget. And if I open it up, the default.cs HTML, it just says hello world kind of thing for message property that got created for you in the entities. Where is that message? Again, if you go back to the SitefinityWidget in here for the view component, all the way at the bottom, there will be an entity class, and you can define all your public properties that will be reflected automatically in the widgets. Make sense? All right, let's go ahead and run this for right now just to show you the issue. We'll say .NET run. It will compile it and it will run it. And once it tells us that everything is okay, I will go ahead and open up another tab in here in Chrome browser, and we will go ahead and hit the port 5000. So let's say localhost port 5000, and let's see if it can see it. Yep, we are running right now in .NET Core for the entire site. Let me go ahead in the back end. We'll say /Sitefinity, like that. All right, I'll log in as the admin on this site. And notice also in the terminal, everything I'm doing in here, actually there is a console, just to, in case there is a problem, you can debug it directly in here. Also, there's a performance counters in here to tell you how much or how long each one of these operations is taking in milliseconds. So that's a pretty good thing as well. Make sense? Let's go ahead and log in. All right, I am in. And at this point, if I go to pages, let's go ahead, a page that I created earlier that's pretty empty. It's called the home core, for instance. There you go. And I just have a section with 2 widgets inside of it. And if I click on add a widget in here, you will notice that my SitefinityWidget got created here right away. Where did it get that little logo on top of it in green right there? And the answer is that's built in. So every single widget you're going to create, you'll automatically get exactly the same icon for all of them. But notice here, the ones that come automatically from Progress, they have nice little icons that they have created themselves and so on. So the question now is, I don't want to create like 10, 15 different widgets and all of them will get exactly the same icon. So where can I do that? So let's go back in here. I'm going to stop this from running. We'll say Control-C in the terminal to stop it from running. And I'm going to go back all the way to the top. Remember this attribute right before the class for the view component called SiteFinityWidget. This one can actually take about 8 or 9 different parameters. If you don't pass anything at all, you'll get all the defaults, okay? But I can come in here, we'll open up, open and close parentheses, and then you can actually start doing control space, probably you'll get a lot of different things that you can pass in here. Well, not all of them are correct, but some of them definitely can actually help you out. Best way to learn about this stuff, by the way, is to go ahead and open that in the documentation. So I open it in here. You can search for Sitefinity documentation and look for, let me show you, it's called Create a Custom .NET Core Widget. And go all the way down, and these are all the different properties that can be passed to this Sitefinity widget attribute. The title, the category, and there is an enum that you can use for all the categories called widget category. Also, which section you're going to put this on. Warning, if you'd like to show a warning inside of there as well. What happens if the widget is completely empty? Do you would like to show an empty icon? What's the text for the empty icon? What's the action, what happens when somebody clicks on that icon? Also, in another video, we'll talk about a separate widget per template. So you can have the same exact widget, the view component, multiple times, but each one of them will be presenting different view of it. So before, we only had one widget in Sitefinity, and then once you get into the widget editor or the widget designer, now I can change the view. But now you can actually make it available as if it was just a regular or a different widget altogether. Just click on it, it will start with that view right away, and that's called separate widget. Also the order, if you want it to be the first one or the last one or a specific order from 0 and up. And the one I'm going to show you in this video is this one in here, thumbnail URL. Notice the last line in here. It says, please make sure the aspect ratio of that image is 4:3, okay? So if it's a 400 pixel, the height should be 300, 100 would be 80 and stuff like that. Don't go that big, by the way. If you push F12 in Chrome to see what Progress is doing in their own icon, usually there is a 42:42 square, and then inside of there is something like 28 pixel by 26.25, stuff like that. Again, a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller will not be a big deal, but again, don't make it huge because it will show up huge inside of the back end of Sitefinity, and you don't want to do that. Also, where would you put that PNG or JPEG file and so on? So create a folder under the www root of the .NET Core and put that file in there. So here in the example, they're telling you to create a thumbnails folder and put whatever file you want inside of there as well. All right, so I did that already. Where did I put it? Let's take a look at where my www root is. Okay, there is a www root. Automatically you get an empty scripts and empty styles, but I created a folder called thumbnails. Again, you can call it whatever you want. And then I dropped in my picture here, lino.jpg right there. I made it 4:3, the aspect ratio, and it's ready to go. All right, so if I go inside of the Sitefinity widget now, I can say thumbnail URL, see, the code completion will even help with that. And inside of there, don't forget to put the first slash, and we'll say the name of the folder, thumbnails, and then in here, I think I called it lino.jpg. And we are done, that's it. Now we'll go ahead and say Control S for that. Let's go back in here and we'll say .NET run, and that will compile it and we'll run it again. And let's, okay, it's ready to go. Let me refresh this page. All right, that's because it was in the middle of it. So I do not want to disturb it. So let me go ahead and go back once to the dashboard. All righty. And then I'm going to go to pages and we'll go ahead and click on the home core. And if I've done my job right now, I should see there's my picture. So there is a new widget in here, and icon, like I said, I did not pass the category or the section, so you can put it in a different section, create a category for it, whatever, but the Lino widget is right there. So you can select the widget, and there it is, and then you can get the message. See, remember, this is the out-of-the-box hello world, so you can put the message in here, and you go from there. Make sense? So the important part is when you go choose, that will be there, okay? As of this writing, I'm at 14.4. The build number is 8100. There is a little bit of a glitch. I notified actually the team about it, but I'm pretty sure this is a very small thing. In the next build or the next release, it will be fixed. I noticed that the title is not showing in here. So if I don't pass the thumbnail URL, the word Lino widget will show up in here. But as soon as I use a thumbnail URL, the image is showing perfectly, but the name is not. So I tried to even push it. So I go, another one was called title. There you go. Let's say title equals like that. And inside of there, I will come in here and will say Lino widget. So that hopefully will force it, but again, it did not work for me. So when I actually recompile this, let me go ahead and make sure first. We'll say Control C on this guy, and then .NET run one more time. And you don't want to interrupt it in the middle of something, so I'm going to go back to let's say Sitefinity to go to the backend for the dashboard. All right, we'll say pages, and I'm going to come back to the home core in here. Let's click on this guy. You will notice that even though I am forcing the title, it's not showing. So it's one or the other right now. It's a small little glitch, but again, it will hopefully get fixed soon. So just in case you try something like this and you wonder why the Lino widget is not showing up, that's because the thumbnail URL is taking over and it's not allowing the title to show up for some reason. It's a little glitch, but hopefully I get fixed. All right, hopefully that's easy enough to show you how to use the new way instead of using the old way of the CSS classes in the CMS system itself. In .NET Core, thumbnail URL will do the job, and hopefully you enjoyed that video. Thank you.